From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on LALATE.
This is LALATE with breaking news about your fourth stimulus check and fourth stimulus package of 2021 today. And boy, there is breaking news. Minutes ago, a federal court ruled the CDC eviction moratorium is unlawful and may not be used going forward. This is the CDC eviction moratorium ruled unlawful. Second major breaking news minutes ago, the Social Security Administration says if you did not get a first or second or third stimulus check, file your tax return immediately, personal tax return. And finally, also third breaking news minutes ago, the state of Montana says it's stopping doing FPUC in its state months ahead of time. So it will not participate in FPUC. And now analysts believe that other states across the board that have Republican governors may end FPUC right away before you ever anticipated. What's going on? I have all the breaking details, including the details about your fourth stimulus check, how much you're getting it and when you're getting it, in this major noontime recording with breaking news across the board. This is Shocking Details on Noontime LALATE. Good noontime, everybody. How are you? This is Home LA, live from Los Angeles. Hope you have a beautiful day. It is breezy and easy out here, but boy, there is breaking news across the board. I'll be going over your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 in this recording, but I'm also going to go over the shocking developing details. Breaking news across the board about the CDC eviction moratorium shot down by a federal court minutes ago. Second, a Republican governor saying he's ending FPUC in his state immediately, and that other governors may do the same right around the clock. And then third, that we learned from Social Security that an IRS that they said file your tax return ASAP if you haven't got to the stimulus check. A lot of breaking details, and that's why you're here with me. This is LALATE. If you've not subscribed, please do. This is the only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel, never missing a beat and never missing a step with you along the way. Subscribe right away because you don't want to miss anything happening across the board. Also, like this video, 3,000 likes, and if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. I'll be cutting to that fourth stimulus check, how much you're going to get in just a second. But let me start with one of the major shocking developing details minutes ago. A federal district court out of D.C. just ruled that the CDC eviction moratorium, which protected renters from being evicted, has now been ruled unlawful and has shot it down. The ruling is not unusual because there have been other percolations of other rulings that were suggesting that the CDC eviction moratorium was unlawful across the board. The White House's response is they are scrambling. They're figuring out what to do. And could an executive order be in place coming up next? We don't know. Let me explain the implication of this for you. If you're a renter or a homeowner and you've had protection from the CDC for either renting or for your mortgage, there is a big question right now whether the CDC eviction moratorium will be held lawful in the state in which you are. It's simply unknown. A federal court ruling in one jurisdiction does not necessarily apply to yours, but that doesn't mean that a judge can ultimately say, yes, I'm going to defer to that ruling in another jurisdiction, and it is correct. Here's what you need to know about the CDC eviction moratorium. It was established in summer of last year after this channel ironically slammed then President Trump for saying he established an eviction moratorium that did not create an eviction moratorium. He had said on a Friday at his golf tournament that he was going to announce a series of executive orders, and on Saturday they were released. In them was an announcement that he was going to have an eviction moratorium, but there was nothing in there. Shortly thereafter, the CDC came out and said, hi, we have the eviction moratorium. We will allow you to fill out a form and you provide it to the landlord, and hence you're protected from eviction. It's slightly different than the mortgage protection. Here's what's strange about it was even at that time when it was announced, no one understood why CDC was involved with renters. It didn't make sense, and Trump never explained it. But what made even more peculiarities about it was while no one really thought it made sense at the time, Biden extended it. Biden did not start new with something new that made more logical sense. He continued to extend it. He first extended it to April, and then he extended it to where it was to expire now in June. The White House is trying to deal with the situation and the controversy right across the board, and has issued a statement minutes ago saying that it's trying to deal with the situation. During a press briefing, the White House said that it understands the situation. The press secretary spoke minutes ago and said, "We have also recognized, of course, the importance of the eviction moratorium, and it's for Americans who have fallen behind on rent during the pandemic. A recent study," this is her talking, "estimates that there were 1.55 million fewer evictions filed during the 2020 than would have been expected due to the eviction moratorium. So it clearly has a huge benefit." The ruling came out of the U.S. District Court for District of Columbia by a justice appointed by Trump in 2017. Several court rulings have attempted to strike down the ruling. While this ruling was written more starkly than the previous ones, it likely has the equally limiting application impacting plaintiffs. So really unclear if it's going to impact a lot of people or not. It's just too unclear across the board. The ruling came from federal judge Danny Friedrich minutes ago. So that is the first thing to know across the board. I did have one viewer who was in the live chat yesterday, Scott, who said he went to court. A viewer of my channel said he went to the court and he had an eviction moratorium from CDC. He showed it to the judge and the judge threw it on the floor. So this is not sort of out of the ordinary. Really hard to gauge where we are. This is why the president needs to do executive orders his own way, need to get them done on point and get them out the door. And remember, what I've been detailing over the last few days is that the rent, mortgage, and utilities money is just landing now under third stimulus. It's just landing now that was supposed to be there months ago. So had you had the money, you would not have been evicted at this point. Coming up later in this recording, I'll be going over the other two breaking news that happened a minute ago when Social Security and IRS said you need to file tax returns. If you're not filing tax returns to get stimulus checks, do them ASAP. And then I'll have the breaking developing details also about FPUC ending faster than anyone anticipated. Oh boy, it's one of those days. All right, let's cut back to forced stimulus and your monthly stimulus check. Well, at least that is free and clear from the controversies of the day. The House members, Tlaib and Jalapal, want to give you a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. They wrote it in their bill. The first month would be $2,000 a month. The first month would be $2,000, and then every month thereafter would be $1,000 a month. Let's compare the House plan and the Senate plan across the board. So the House plan would provide you, as you just saw, a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic and then 1 year thereafter. The Senate would provide you a stimulus check to the remainder of this year. The House plan is $2,000 a month for the first month you just saw and $1,000 thereafter. The Senate is the amount per month is unknown, but word on the street is this. $2,000 a month over 6 months or $12,000. $1,400 a month over 6 months, which is $8,400. Who gets these four stimulus checks? You do. Eligibility is the same as the third stimulus check. So $75,000 or less, you do. Married couple, $150,000 or less, you do. Double the check. Household four or less, you do. Quadruple the check. And if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, or veterans benefits, you do as well. The amount of the check for the adult dependent is the same. The amount for the minor dependent is the same. It is not income. It is not a taxable event. It would be paid in the month of July for the month of July and continuing thereafter. These are all the representations of these legislators behind it. The vote would be in the month of July, says Leader Schumer and Speaker Pelosi, and the recon would start 2 months ahead of time, which is now, this month. 2 months, 2 bills, 2 steps to the finish line. That's your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. Now, earlier today on LALATE's Mornings, I went through, and I certainly was on camera a little bit earlier today, so my apologies if you missed that. It's now archived on the channel. I went through a series of financial data that came out today, new earnings reports, not earnings reports, economic data that came out from Wall Street. And it showed actually that on the spectrum of possibilities, it took us to the other side we haven't talked about in a while, which was we're actually not recovering as fast as we may have thought, which is more reason to get stimulus out the door. Remember, there's another possibility heading this Friday, which is the job creation number coming out Friday. If that's too strong, then that brings us on the other permutation, which is get the stimulus checks out the door faster because you don't want the economy to rebound before they get the checks out the door. But this CDC order today is very, very significant because it could signal a real big problem across the board. All right, let's go to the other breaking news minutes ago. First, we learned that the PPP has just ran out of money. This is very fast because the president just signed an executive order no less than a few days ago. I think it's about a week and a half ago, an extension of the PPP program. It is now run out of money. And this is not particularly good for this president. Why? Because there is no current grant program out there for anyone that's other than a restaurant or a venue. Broadway just announced they're reopening in September. Congratulations to them, but they're getting a grant. And restaurants are reopening across the country. Well, congratulations to them. They're getting a grant. How about everyone else? There is currently no grant now the PPP has gone away. This is a real problem for this president. Let me explain what's going on. Third stimulus was supposed to have a $5,000 EIDL grant. It has not gone live. There's no indications going live. And PPP and SBA is still not paying the remainder of the $10,000 grant from last year. They are holding up that money for EIDL grants. Second, I have been talking about the excitement that PPP was live. You can go get a PPP loan, which turns to a grant. Now that's gone. So there is literally nothing set up for this president to get grants to businesses. And loans may not be an equivalent option. Yesterday, VP Harris and this morning met with JP Morgan Chase's Jamie Dimon and Brian Moynihan, who's at Bank of America CEO, and talked about ramping up the PPP program. It's out of money. What is she doing? Does she not know it's out of money? What do you mean ramping it up? It's out of money. Why do you pass a third stimulus and then run it out of money? And she also talked about the importance of supporting corporations. Well, a new report said that 59% of Americans do not support raising the corporate tax rate on the fourth stimulus. So there's sort of this front door approach that the administration is doing with saying, let's do more PPP, let's help businesses. But they're not delivering the business grants. They're trying to increase the corporate tax rate, and now PPP is out of money. So it's like it's a lot of show and not a lot of substance currently this week when it comes to businesses. That is the second update, the second surprise. Boy, there's actually 4 breaking news stories today. I forgot. So far we have covered the shocker about the CDC, the shocker about the PPP out of money. Let's go to the big shocker, which this one I never saw coming. Frankly, I never saw this one coming. I saw the CDC one coming because we've been hearing about this for a while, permeating. But this one, FPUC ending early. What? So the state of Montana has confirmed they're going to end the FPC program early in the month of June. It goes all the way, I think, to September. So they're ending FPC in June. Why? Because they don't want you to get it anymore. That's basically what they're saying. We don't want you to get it anymore. We want you to get back to work. Excuse me? And what makes this concerning, what makes this a big story on Noontime LALATE right now is that there's reports that a lot of Republican states may follow exactly and do the exact same thing. Now, let me explain to you what's going on. 2 months early, the state of Montana is ending FPUC, says Governor Greg Gianforte announced in a statement. He's going to end it June 27th. So what is he doing? He's proposing a $1,200 return to work bonus that if you have a job, go get back to work, and here's $1,200 for you. If this sounds very similar, familiar to you, it's the Brady plan from 2020, which I detail on this channel. Brady wanted to give you money, get back to work, and stop giving you FPUC. So a new report out today says that other states may start to do this very quickly. How can they do this? They can simply opt out of receiving federal funds. Meaning, a state asked to participate in FPUC, they can say, I don't want to participate in FPUC anymore. It's just like LWA in 2020 on this channel. They asked to be part of LWA, and then they asked to stop it. For remember, DeSantis in Florida didn't do LWA as many weeks as other states. So here we have the first state saying we are stopping FPUC 2 months earlier. That means if you're in Montana, you are losing out upwards of 8 weeks of $300 if you are going to be unemployed all the way to September. Shocker. And the report claims that this is only the first of many states that could be having this happen. Boy, if we're just not done with all the breaking news. I have more about this after the commercial break, but here's a little bit about the community page and the rent and utilities you can get now. Get it now that the CDC eviction moratorium, at least in D.C., was ruled unlawful. I'll be back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Noontime LA. I saw some of your comments during the commercial break. They were great. One person asked, so the judge did not extend the eviction moratorium? No, the judge ruled it unlawful, meaning he stopped it on its feet at that very moment. Now, whether that's going to impact the entire country, we don't know. Other viewers were really shocked by the Montana news. If you're just joining me, Montana has determined that it's going to stop FPUC in its state 2 months early. And there's reports that that other Republican-led governor states may follow suit in the next few days. Boy, and then another person said, I bet COVID takes a new surge in the next few weeks. In fact, Dr. Walensky went live this morning. I haven't been able to give you the video yet. She said exactly that thing that the viewer said. She repeated exactly what the viewer said. She thinks that COVID is going to resurge again in another few weeks. Boy, here we go. If you've not subscribed, you now know why you got to subscribe to this channel, because there's breaking news across the board. And in this recording, there's 4 breaking developing details. Also like this video, and if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. So fourth stimulus, that monthly stimulus check, we started with that. Let me touch back on that. That is a fourth stimulus check. Who gets it? If you make less than $75,000, you get it. $150,000 or less, married couple, you get it. Household 4 or less, you get it. And if you're on SSI or SSDI, you get it. The word on the street is the senators would pay you $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400. The House members have actually written that they're going to give you $1,000 per month after the first month, but give it to you a longer time frame over the rest of the pandemic plus 1 year. Again, it's not income. It's not taxable, and it would not disqualify you from benefits. And there you go. Someone also asked, can you give me an update about unemployment? Yes, I gave one on this morning, but I'll give it again. The update on the return of money for unemployment, I think, is going to be a very big issue because it's a little bit unusual, it's a little bit peculiar, and it's a little bit complex. And there's some YouTube channels that have butchered it. So here's what you need to know. There's three types of scenarios. Let me go through all the three scenarios. First, you've already filed a 2020 tax return and paid unemployment and paid federal taxes on that unemployment you received in 2020. If that is you, then they are returning that portion of the taxes you paid on your unemployment to the federal government. So for example, if you filed your 2020 return already and you had $9,000 of unemployment, your total tax bill was $5,000, but the portion of the $5,000 tax bill was $1,000 for taxes on the unemployment, you're getting $1,000 back. That's automatic. It's phase one is being paid first. Who's phase one? Single tax filers. So just a single person filing their own tax return. Phase two will be married couples that have joint filings. Okay, the second group is the easiest group. The second group is the easiest group, which are people who did not take out for federal taxes ever when they got their unemployment. Then there's nothing for you to worry about, because when you go to do your tax return, don't pay taxes on the first $10,200 to the federal government. Very easy. And finally, the third group is, I think, the group that may get the most confused. If you have not filed your tax return and you did take out for federal taxes, you need to file your tax return and indicate in the tax return that you took out for federal taxes and you need that to be refunded. It's not a particularly easy thing to list on a tax return. So you need a tax preparer, and I am not, and I cannot provide you tax advice beyond the average stuff. So there you go. That is taxes. Now, on that same news, we also have breaking news coming in minutes ago from IRS about the 2020 return. And they're now telling Americans who are on Social Security or any type of benefits to get the return on file right away. So this announcement came minutes ago. If you are receiving Social Security or any type of supplemental security income, SSI, or anything like that, and are waiting for a stimulus check, you should file a tax return as soon as possible, the Social Security Administration said minutes ago. The announcement concerns the first stimulus check of $1,200, the second one for $600, and the third stimulus check for $1,400. This is for people who don't have to normally file a tax return. And this includes people who may not have to normally file a tax return. Filing a tax return can help IRS process the third stimulus check, which the government is still sending out. The official statement obtained by LALATE minutes ago says the following. Most Social Security beneficiaries and SSI recipients should have received their economic impact payment by now. And then obviously what they're referring to is that if you haven't, that is why you need to get that tax file on file right away. In response to that viewer's comment during the commercial break, let me tell you what Dr. Walensky said minutes ago. It's actually about 2 hours ago. Dr. Walensky says that the rise of the B117 variant, that's the London variant, which you've heard me talk about a lot on this channel. She says that COVID cases could rise in May, but then decline by July because of the B117. And she's expecting that there could be surges in hospitalizations and deaths in the coming months. Although we see progress in terms of decreased cases, hospitalization, and deaths, variants are a wild card, and they can reverse this process we've made. We've seen that current vaccinations are protecting against the contaminant variants. Simply put, the sooner we get more and more people vaccinated, the sooner we're back to normal. So it's sort of a mixed bag here, which is important for you to know, that if you live in an area where people are not vaccinated very highly and restrictions have been lifted and B117 is spreading, it could be a major concern. Here in Southern California, we really have done wonderful things with vaccination. We were so behind. We were absolutely so far behind. I got vaccinated in February, but boy, this whole area, people were not getting vaccinated because there were no doses here. We zoomed ahead, and now there's a great percentage, one of the best percentages in the country for vaccinations here in Southern California. And now we're reopening because the cases are incredibly low, the best since March of last year. So ultimately, if you're in a jurisdiction where the numbers of vaccinations are low and you are reopened, then I'm concerned across the board. And with that, I think I have covered the 4 breaking news stories. Let me check my notes because it's literally just so much happening. The eviction moratorium I covered. The CDC announcement I covered. The FPUC announcement out of Washington I covered. And I think I got it all. Yes, I did cover it all. And the eviction moratorium news, the CDC order. It's just a shocking day with a lot of stuff across the board. Here's what you need to know. You may have questions about these developing details. You may have questions about the unemployment. You may have questions about the eviction moratorium. You may have questions about the unemployment. Or you may be on SSI and you're wondering about that tax return and ensuring that that child gets the check starting the month of July. Don't forget that every day on this channel, I have a show that is just for you to ask me questions about anything. I don't care if it's Dogecoin or if it's Dodgeball. I am here to answer your questions. That's how I do it. Back in the day, I used to bring on set your comments from the video before, the day before. Now I do it even easier. I'm just here live, and she could ask the questions live. That show is coming up in 2 hours from now on Afternoons LALATE at 4 p.m. And then we go into our tape shows later today, which are Afternoons LALATE, Evenings LALATE, and LA Late Night. Meantime, let me give you the update about what's going on Wall Street because it has been a volatile day. It has been very volatile. The volatility has stemmed from a lot of strange news coming across the board. The Dow and NASDAQ are relatively flat. The Dow had been up 150 points. It's now 172, but that's less than a percentage point. Over on the crypto universe, it's been very volatile today. Ethereum was up higher earlier. It's now relatively flat. Bitcoin is up 5%. But the one that's really just sort of shocking everyone is Dogecoin, which is really just setting up a very, very hard landing. Dogecoin, if you have not bought it, is not a place for you to buy money. Do not buy into something at that point where it is now. If you do have it, enjoy the run. It is a speculative gambling, funny money, just ride of a lifetime. Don't expect it to be an investment item. Don't treat it as an investment item. And don't think of it as the future of cryptocurrency either. The run it's on right now is illogical and it's going to end very badly. When it crashes or when it goes down, if you do hold a position, please understand this. You need to be able to ensure that you have prepared yourself mentally to get out fast and get out quickly. Why? Because I fully believe that a lot of the online trading apps are going to lock up. They have consistently locked up on the rise up, and they're highly likely to lock up on the fall down. So if they do lock up, be prepared to get out when you want to get out. And it may not be at the price you want, but at least you got out. Finally, remember that you don't have profit until you actually make the sale. You haven't made any money until you made the sale. And there we are. Let me jump into the live chat and just see some of the questions and comments viewers may have in this broadcast. And boy, it has just been a big day across the board. I got my check. Do you want me to file taxes to get my fourth stimulus check? Oh, that's a great question. So it's really hard to know why someone got their third stimulus check. So for example, let's say you are on benefits and you got your third stimulus check, but have never done a non-filer filing, never filed a tax return, and you got your first, second, and third, fine. It's up to you. I would play it safe. I really would. I would really play it safe. Liza says, I was told by an IRS rep it takes about 10 weeks after you file. I've heard a lot of viewers be told very, very differing statements by reps. One rep told one viewer it would take to December. Yeah, I was like, I don't buy that. Another rep said it would take them a few weeks. So all very different. But thank you, Christy, for your comment. Is SPUC ending next month? No, it is not ending next month for Marcia. It's ending in September. But what I detailed early in this video is that in the state of Montana, they are ending it 2 months early, starting in June. When will the recon start? Gene, it needs to start in May. It takes 2 months. So we don't know the actual day. Jim 40, will I ever get my SBA grant if I live in the high income community? That is what we were always told, that once they're finished with the low income, they're doing high income. They're not being very transparent on when they're getting to the high income community. And as we start to see a lot of money run out, we're not getting a lot of explanation about what's going on. What checks are we getting in May and June, says Michelle. Oh, let me go over that right now. So the checks you're getting in May and June are the following. Ooh, am I out of focus? I am out of focus. What items can you get in the month of May and June starting right now? Let me go over all those details right now. First, I am out of focus. I apologize. So the first item is rent. You can start getting rent because that's going out to your cities, states, and counties from the federal government under third stimulus right now. So if you make less than $75,000, yeah, you can get it. Rent is generally about 4 to 6 months of rent and about $5,000. Reach out to your state hall, state housing authority, county hall, county housing authority, city hall, city housing authority. Then reach out to the nonprofits if you don't like the restrictions you're hearing from third stimulus. If you're having problems finding it after you do the search, then reach out to the community page. Utility assistance is also available right now as well from third stimulus. Then we turn to the homeowners. They have mortgage assistance money and also utility assistance. SNAP has been extended for 15% increase till December. So get that right now. That could be a fortune, upwards of $16,000 for a family of 4 in Hawaii. Normally they would get $1,400 a month, but now it's increased 15%, so it's about $16,000 over that period of time. Incredible, great, over a year. Incredible, great news. So you see between food and SNAP, that money is available for you right now. Also available for other people right now. Other people are the business monies. I would have said PPP, but now we're learning it may have run out of money unless you have the application on file. The EID loan. The Shutter Venue Grant went live last Friday. The restaurant grant went live last Friday. And then over to the unemployment. That unemployment tax refund detailed early in this video, that's starting to be paid this week for the for the single filers of their 2020 returns. And then phase 2 for the joint filers comes in later this month. Also hitting right now is the tee-up you got to do for the children. If you have a child and you need to get that personal tax return on file with the IRS, the federal tax return, in the next few days, because guess what? If they don't know the child exists and they don't know you made less than $75,000, they're not going to send you a check. It's a lot of money, $3,600 or $3,000 starting the month of July, but the deadline to get that 2020 tax return on file is just a few days from now. And I hope this video has been helpful for you. If you have more questions or comments, join me again in 2 hours from now with that big afternoon's broadcast in which I go Q&A. And then after that, I go into the tape shows tonight. And with that, always stay informed, stay focused, keep on smiling. Make sure you subscribe. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. Also, like this video. Let's try to do 2,000-3,000 likes. If you're in the live chat, hit that like button right now. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Get access to all the documents that are parts of the PDFs that make the bills or make the laws. And with that, I'll see you in just a little bit as LA continues into afternoons today.